He just calls up the Daily Mail out of nowhere to talk to them about being on the set of It Ends With Us. Hi, and welcome to Flows and Talk. I'm Ashley Flo, and here on my channel, I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood, working as an entertainment reporter, and you know it, a lot about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal drama. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. There's always stuff going on here, so I did post a couple of episodes this weekend as well. If you missed those, I'll leave some links in the description. Anyways, I did report on this story already. Taylor Swift was out celebrating in New York City with her friend Dakota Johnson a few days ago. She was celebrating that she now owns the rights to all her own music, which was a huge deal for her. Obviously, she paid a ton of money to get her rights back, and she wanted to celebrate with her friends. So she invited Dakota Johnson, and her brother was there, and Dakota Johnson's brother was there, and there was one more person there that no one else spotted except some guys, some sleuths on the internet. It was like, I've seen this guy before. And guess where you've seen this guy before? So this guy followed Dakota Johnson to her car after the dinner date. He was obviously, or he is obviously, a bodyguard. Guess where he was spotted the last time? So this is him next to Blake Lively when she's entering Seth Meyers' show. I think that's just a month ago or so now. Remember, she was on the show talking about how she's a victim and she talks for all victims and blah, blah, blah. And these 2 years had been awful. Anyways, this guy was there. He was there during her whole Another Simple Favor promo tour. And people found pictures of him and Blake Lively all the way back to 2023 at It Ends With Us. He was on the set as well at It Ends With Us when they were shooting. And now this guy is at the same dinner with Taylor Swift and Dakota Johnson. It might be a coincidence because these guys are usually hired as freelancers through a security company, and they might cover several celebrities because some people don't need a 24/7 security guard, obviously. They just need one when they're going out for dinner or stuff like that, or attending a premiere or whatever. So maybe Blake Lively didn't hire him to like full time, and then Dakota Johnson uses the same security company. That could definitely be. But the thing is, this guy knows a lot. Can you imagine? He's been around Blake Lively throughout the entire promotion of Another Simple Favor, all the things that he've heard. And now he's at a dinner where Taylor Swift is. I'm sure she's talking to Dakota Johnson about what happened with Blake Lively. It would be very strange if you're going out with a really close friend for dinner, and you don't talk about something like that. That doesn't make any sense to me. So this must really freak out Blake Lively's camp that they know that they don't know what he told Taylor Swift. I'm sure that he's a very trustworthy person because these people are really vetted, and that's the reason why they get hired through these companies. But the thing is, just knowing that he knows a lot of the things, Blake Lively is probably thinking, oh my God, what did I say? He was in the car. I said these things. Ryan and I were talking about these things. I would get paranoid too. So yeah, let's see if we're going to see more of this guy. I doubt that he is going to be ever seen next to Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds ever again after someone spotted this. Pretty amazing. So the big story today is how Justin Baldoni's double is explaining what it was like for him to be at the set of It Ends With Us. And he said it was tense. So you might remember this guy. He was in, he was, because so you might remember this guy because he was the one in those raunchy pictures with Blake Lively during A Simple Favor. So they worked together. I think that movie was in 2018. So they worked together back then. And then again, they worked together at It Ends With Us. My question is, how did he get that job at It Ends With Us? Did Blake Lively bring him in? Anyways, keep that in mind. So this guy is now interviewed by Daily Mail. This is so ridiculous. Why would he all of a sudden contact Daily Mail and say, hi, I want to talk about what it was like on the set of It Ends With Us? I think someone called him and said, hey, we need a favor. Please do this interview and talk about how it was tense. We really need people to understand it was really tense on the set of It Ends With Us, allegedly. So this guy's name is Thomas Canestraro, and he was Justin Baldoni's body double in It Ends With Us. So he was doing some of these a little more violent scenes with Blake. It says here that he was in a scene with her when she pushed his body off his and fell back or whatever. I mean, there's a reason why there are double bodies, body doubles in these films. So he was a stand-in for Justin Baldoni in this scene. And he said that he was on the set for he was there the last 2 weeks of the shoot, and he was supposed to be there 5 days, but he ended up being there for 2 weeks because there were so many delays. We've heard about those delays and who caused those delays, like Blake Lively, for example, who wanted to change the wardrobe and the script and the music and everything else that was in this movie. And he said that his experience with Lively was markedly different from the last time they worked together on a marketing campaign for A Simple Favor in 2018. At the time, the provocative adverts called for Canestraro to pose in the buff with only a sock covering his private parts. I've talked about these ads on my channel before because they are a little bit, out there. And the other one, which was this one, where she's using a man as an ottoman, that's apparently also the same guy who's doing that. It looked like it was a black guy there, but apparently it wasn't. It was this guy, Thomas, who was also the stand-in here. He recalls from that shoot that he had an extremely easy time working with the actress, who made sure he was provided with a bathroom after the photo shoot wrapped. When he was reunited with the actress on the set It Ends With Us, he felt comfortable working with Lively again, but noticed an unusual change in her behavior, saying she was more closed off. I wonder why she was closed off at this time. This was at the end of the shoot. And of course, the set was tense after everything that had been going on. After Blake Lively had been threatening Justin Baldoni to sign, I think it was these 30 points, and he ended up signing 17 or whatever it was, for her to actually go back. And she had been like pushing Sony and saying if she doesn't get this way, or if they don't use Ryan Reynolds' version of that scene, all these things that she had pressured Justin Baldoni on already. Of course, it was a tense set. And I'm sure that everyone else who was there noticed this kind of tension between her and Baldoni. I mean, obviously. So he says something really interesting here. He says that the first day on set, Ryan Reynolds was there. He said, originally, I came on set my first day. Ryan is on set. And I'm like, oh my God, what a cool thing. It's like when I was in A Simple Favor. So that means that Ryan Reynolds probably showed up at A Simple Favor as well. And he thought, oh, what a supportive husband who just came on set to cheer his wife. I just love that about them. That's a cool energy in that couple, he said. It all clicked for Canestraro when the lawsuit made headlines. And here he talks about how he reacted to that. He says, and now I'm like, oh, was Blake already in such a bad place that Ryan just came to make sure that she was okay? Well, I think we all know now why Ryan Reynolds was at that set. He was there to help Blake take control of the movie and to intimidate Justin Baldoni. No wonder it was really tense on that set. I think they stopped shooting in early 2024. So at this point, so many things had happened. Ryan hadn't blocked Justin Baldoni yet on his Instagram, but it was just a few months before that. Anyways, Canestraro explains that he really liked Baldoni. He said he was extremely friendly. And then he said he has a wife, he has a family, he has friends, and he has people who right now, some of them believe him, some of them have questions marks over his head. And that must not be a good place to be. It must affect him. But this guy is not taking sides here, obviously. He says, I don't even want to be in any team, he said. I hope they can find an agreement. We don't need that in the industry. At the same time, you can't discredit anybody's feelings and anybody's experience. Yeah, we don't need that in the industry. No one needs this in their life or at work or anywhere else, that someone's accusing you of things that you haven't done. And I wonder how much they pushed this guy to come out and say that the set was tense. As you know, right now, Blake Lively is really, her team is really struggling to find any evidence that they can use in court, because everything that they have served us so far, Justin Baldoni has, come out and said, hey, I have the evidence, this didn't happen. So at this point, I feel like they're quite desperate to find something. And then this guy shows out of nowhere, really. Where was he the last 5 months? And now he's like, hi, Daily Mail, it's Thomas Canastraro. Do you want to hear me talk about what it was like on the set of It Ends With Us? It was tense. Do you want to make a story about that? No, that didn't happen. Ah, and of course, we've seen lately those letters that were sent to the judge that I talked about yesterday, that one of the advocacies who signed that letter to the judge to support the Me Too law being used against Justin Baldoni, so he would have to drop his lawsuit against Blake Lively. Blake Lively's lawyer is on the board of that advocacy group. So of course she had something to do with it. I mean, that's not a coincidence. So at this point, they're just so desperate to find anything that they can use against Justin Baldoni. And this is the strongest they had so far, that it was tense. And there is another kiss ass story from Daily Mail, who they picked up in People magazine. I think Leslie Sloan is working really hard right now. She needs to get a bonus from Blake Lively. Yeah, so they digged up this director called Ken Kwapis, who directed Blake Lively in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants back when she was 16 years old. And they asked him what it was like to work with Blake Lively. They had to go back till she was 16 years old to find someone that said a nice thing about her. That's how I read this story anyway. Yeah, I don't know why Daily Mail would pick up this story from People. I'm just a little shocked by that. But anyways, so this director, who is now 67 years old, he says that it's hard to imagine anyone else other than Blake Lively as Bridget, even though it was her first acting job. I mean, she was 16, she came into audition, and yet she won it in the room. She had such a sort of intuitive connection to this character. Wah, wah. I mean, seriously, we all know Blake Lively is not a great actress. And when she was 16, definitely not. And we also know she's a Nepo baby. She had contacts in the industry. So she had like basically no experience at this time. But anyways, he keeps talking about how she's friends with her co-stars from that time still. We know that some of them don't even follow each other on Instagram. And America Ferrara, I did a story on her. She deleted the post, or she took it off her grid on Instagram where she supported Blake, and then she put it back in again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think these people are in touch at all. But he was like, oh, they're such good friends, and it's so rare that you see people are friends for after so many years. I'm wondering when the last time Blake Lively spoke to any of these people that she was acting with in this film. And as I said, it's 20 years ago, and she was like a child at the time. So yeah, as I said, I think they had to go back 20 years to find anyone that could say a nice thing about Blake Lively. And so congratulations to Ken Kwapis. Yeah, you nailed it. Also, someone sent me this clip. I've seen this before, but it was good to have a reminder, because now I feel like we think about it a little bit differently when this interview was done. This was when Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds both of them were promoting Deadpool versus Wolverine this summer, and they were both interviewed on Chicken Soup Dates. And Hugh Jackman was asked about Ryan Reynolds, and he described him like this.
The reputation is terrible. I mean, it comes across very charming, funny, you know, in the way like Ted Bundy was apparently charming.
Yeah, no, that now you're saying that, like, I'm kind of thinking about our interaction a bit differently, because he was smiling. He did have really nice glistening eyes, but like really maybe he's evil.
No, maybe. It's pretty clear.
Yeah, he's evil and charming in like a Ted Bundy way. How interesting way to describe your best buddy, Hugh Jackman. And the thing is, with everything we know now, I feel like, ooh, I mean, yeah, why would you compare him to Ted Bundy? Anyways, that's it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, please keep sending me tips. As I always say, I really enjoy reading all your emails and messages. You were so amazing. So thank you so much for that. And yes, let me know what you think in the comment section. And I'll see you in my next episode. And please remember to subscribe if you haven't and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode of Blossom Talk. Bye.